Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is poppin', y'all? It's the man, Cloudboy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly, where today's episode, I know it's a little bit late for this one. I usually do this before New Year's, but I had a busy New Year's, plus the Packers did play on New Year's Eve, so I didn't really want to make this video until the New Year happened. And I was obviously working all week. So I just wanted to obviously wait until the good, proper moment to give this video. I do this video every year. Usually I just do a compilation. But this was like very different year for when it came to Wisconsin sports moments. Although this year may have not had some of the greatest moments, I feel like a lot of things that happened behind the scenes really made this year super impactful. And with that being said, I'm going to bring to you today what I think are the top 10 moments of 2023 for Wisconsin sports. I feel like a lot of people know what the top 3 are, because I feel like if you follow the sports, I think a lot of people know what the number 3 are. But obviously there's a lot that happened, I think, this year, and I think I'm going to go over the top 10 that I think were the best moments probably of this season. Both good and bad. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and let's get down to business. At number 10. First off, we got ourselves... The Brewers this season were a very interesting team. Everybody thought we weren't really going to do much, but then they ended up like winning the division and having itself a phenomenal season. And then they made some trades at the deadline. One of those trades was a veteran outfielder by the name of Mark Canha. And I guess the best thing I can say is whenever there's a big play and Brian Anderson is calling the game, yeah, big moments. Well, these moments will give you chills.
Away. Canha on the first pitch. It's way back. It's gonna be a grand slam. Mark Canha, an electrifying moment on the first pitch, and it's 9-5.
Yeah, obviously that was a big, big game and a big moment, and definitely something, I'll probably never forget. One of my probably favorite plays ever. I mean, it sucks that we had to trade him because of Chourio coming in and our young outfield and stuff, but I really would have liked to see him stick around in Milwaukee, because I feel like it's going to be a very memorable moment for probably years to come. All right, number 9. This was a fun moment. I was, I wanted to talk about the Packers this season. The Packers this season, this was very early in the season. Jordan Love had his first ever home game. And, we were down 17-0. And it was one of those games that, I think everybody picked the Packers to win. No one had the Saints, but they got down to a 17-0 deficit and it was going into the fourth quarter. I thought the game was over. I thought, yeah, there's no way they're going to come back. And then Jordan Love, delivered a very memorable fourth quarter performance. You know what? It was just purely a dynamic win for the Packers. He was doing the right things, and we were missing a lot of stars in this game too. So I think it was interesting to see that Jordan Love, despite missing I think Aaron Jones and Christian Watson were both gone in this game, he was just on the money in that fourth quarter, and we came back, we won the game, and it was just a very memorable moment. I mean, it showed definitely the Packers had so much upside to this offseason. And I think they're going to be really good for years to come. I am truly confident in saying that. And without further doubt, I can't wait to see really what the future brings for this Packers organization. I mean, I really do. At number 8, I feel like we're just going to be, this one's a little bit of a simple one, but after Minnesota having the axe for 2 years, getting it back really meant something. And I feel like it only did because this season for the Badgers was quite disappointing to say for the least. I mean, the amount of monstrosity that I've seen online of people demanding that Fickle get fired and after his first season, this season, everybody just expected the Badgers to be just really good off the bat, and that's not how college football works. Still, all of Chris' people were there, so let's be real. Was it really Fickle yet? I think we have a little bit wait to see. But the end of the season definitely showed the promise that the Badgers have as pretty much an organization. Obviously, the last game that we ever saw Braylon Allen in a Badgers uniform, Mordecai showed up, and they absolutely made sure to bring that axe back. Going into Minnesota and doing it was definitely something super memorable, since losing it the last 2 years was just something that really sucked. And I'm just happy that they got it back, because just to think about it, it really sucked. It really sucked to not really have it anymore. And then to get it all back makes you think of all the times we've won it and dominated Minnesota. And you know what? It'll be interesting. I mean, it's still going to be a rivalry for years to come and stuff, but definitely I can't wait to really see what happens with the Badgers. I think it's a fresh start, and this rivalry is definitely heating up in the next coming years. At number 7, this was obviously a very depressing time. The Bucks, last year, they had one of the best regular seasons. Everything was going so well, and then playoffs happened. And I honestly did not really expect much. I thought the Miami Heat were going to give us a fight. I did admit that. But I didn't think that it was really going to be going down to the point where the Heat would actually dominate against us. And even though I wish that wasn't the case, it was. And it was just so disappointing to see how badly coached we were in this playoffs that it actually got to the point where pretty much everybody demanded that Budenholzer had to get fired. And pretty much, I think they are regretting it, because look at Adrian Griffin now. He sucks. He's the worst coach I've ever seen in my life. I mean, but the thing about it, I think this was a huge breaking point, because I think the Bucks knew what was going on, and you know what? They had to make some moves. This was unfortunate. If Budenholzer was never going to win him a championship, but you think about it, and it's who is? So this was a huge upset for the Heat to obviously dismantle us in the playoffs. And obviously Giannis did get injured, and I think that did cause a lot of problems to happen. But those games 4 and games 5 were just 2 absolutely awful moments, and I just wish it wouldn't have happened that way. So that's that. Number 6. This moment was pretty funny. The Brewers winning the division. I think it's pretty obvious that this should be in here, because no one ever thought they were going to win the division. But the way they won the division is honestly the most comical thing ever. If you remember this, if you're a Cubs fan and you're watching this, please look away.
Murphy, shallow right center, but it hangs up in the air. Oh, he dropped it! He dropped the ball! Sorry.
Yeah, that was, yeah. But the Brewers won the division, and I guess everything seemed to go into plan, except when they got absolutely trounced by the Diamondbacks in playoffs. But at this point, what can you do? It's the same thing. At number 5, the Packers facing Patrick Mahomes in Lambeau Field. The first time Patrick Mahomes has ever been in Lambeau Field. It was the biggest game of the season. And everybody picked the Chiefs to win. No one said the Packers had a chance. Obviously, I think this was a big deal for the Packers. And two, this whole publicity stunt with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship. Taylor Swift was in Lambeau Field. I mean, it was a big, big, big game. And to see us, win against the Chiefs, I mean, it was just big. And I mean, I couldn't believe it happened. I mean, the amount of monstrosity of these penalties in this game, I don't even know what to really think about. That was in itself like I don't even know, literally these penalties were terrible. And they literally tried to make the Chiefs win this game. And then I guess then they call all this other crap that was a missed pass interference and all this other stuff. And it's okay, these refs just suck. But they ended up winning this game. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, that was definitely the best win of the season for the Packers in any way. I mean, it was a great, memorable moment. And for sure, I mean, I'll remember this for a long time. At number 4, we have Marquette winning the Big East for the first time franchise history. Both regular season and playoff. I mean, the thing that Shaka Smart has done with this Marquette program has definitely skyrocketed. He has just been the change that Marquette needed. He made Tyler Kolek into the star player, winning Big East Player of the Year, getting comparisons to Steve Nash. I mean, this Marquette team, they got the chance to really, win it next year. I think they just were ahead of themselves. They got out-coached in the second round of last year. But definitely, I think Marquette definitely, if they really get themselves together, knowing from what they learned from last year, they definitely do have a shot at something. So that's what's good. But we'll see what happens with Marquette. I mean, anything can happen at this point. Next up, at number 3, before I get to number 3, a couple better moments that I left out of this top 10. First off was Giannis breaking the single game scoring record. Big moment, and then especially what happened after the game. I think a lot of people know that. Sal Frelick's debut for the Brewers, that was probably one of the best debuts ever for a baseball player, from what I remember. Jackson Chourio also signing his contract. Giannis signing his contract. Packers defeating the Bears week 1 after all that trash talk. Packers defeating the Vikings on the first day of 2023 and the last day of 2023. The Packers blow out the Vikings. Weird coincidence. Ladder gate for which was when Giannis pushed down a ladder. Badgers volleyball also having a great season. Badgers hockey having their first big season. Also UWM's basketball had a great season. There was a lot that really did happen, but obviously it doesn't separate from what happened in these final 3 moments. These huge pivotal moments for these franchises. First off, at number 3, Counsell leaving the Brewers for the Cubs. In one of the most sinister snake moves ever, I couldn't even believe it when it happened. Craig Counsell decided to leave Milwaukee as a manager. He was already getting interviews elsewhere, but then the Cubs offered him the pay, basically more money than any manager has ever given, ever. It was double what the highest paid manager was getting. And to be real, I mean, I literally could not believe it. I mean, you get that money offer, there's no reason why you shouldn't take it. I mean, I don't blame it, but he is a snake. He could have went to the Mets. He could have went to the Guardians. He could have went anywhere, even the Yankees. But the Cubs, that just killed me. I mean, it killed me. I just hated it. At number 2, another departure, but obviously this one was a long waited, and obviously being one of the greatest players to ever play for this franchise, I can understand how impactful it was. It was obviously Aaron Rodgers, deciding to leave the Packers and sign with the Jets. Obviously this season wasn't the season obviously he hoped for with him tearing his Achilles and whatsoever. But him, when he announced it on McAfee, it just shocked everybody. And it was true. It was a big deal. It was a big deal. I mean, for the Jets fans, for Packers fans, and it was the start of the Jordan Love era. It was the start of the Aaron Rodgers era in New York Jets. I hope he's obviously plays a full season next year, and I wish he wouldn't have gotten injured. But looking at it, it's crazy. It was just one of the craziest things ever. I think it's quite obvious that happening was like huge. I mean, seriously. And then number 1. Obviously I wanted to end with a big positive note, and number 1 is obviously Damian Lillard being traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think obviously when I found that news out, I couldn't even believe it. I was so shocked and surprised and happy, and you know what? It did unfortunately make us have to give up Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen, but in actuality, we'll find out if it was worth it. Yeah, you lost your defensive back. You obviously lost a lot of defense, but having Giannis, another all-star to complement Giannis, is probably just the greatest thing ever. It's just going to be fantastic just to see really what happens for the Bucks. But we'll see. Anything can happen. And obviously, we have a whole nother year of crazy things that could definitely happen this season. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see what's in store. But obviously, if you like what you see, comment below, subscribe with your thoughts, and as always, it's Cloudboy Bales. Obviously, let's enjoy 2024. We will see you next time.